At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you had a great week. I know you had a great weekend. Everybody had a great weekend if you're a Razorback fan. Not if you're a Ladyback fan. Ladybacks did not. My original title yesterday, I forgot the ladies. The ladies had a tough game on Sunday yesterday. Forgot they had UConn. And they lost that 95-80. But my original title, as I was getting this typed up yesterday for my script, for the show script today, it was Razorbacks take the weekend. I think it was my original, or it was Razorbacks win all weekend. But the Ladybacks did lose. They play Arkansas State on the 19th. That's their next game on the road. So, welcome. Everybody had a good weekend except the ladies, unfortunately. They did beat UAPB 96-53 on November 12th. You guys want some skin, don't you? Ooh. Somebody scream. All right. You want this? We'll just yeah. So I know most of you had a pretty good weekend. it's not surprising they went on the road and lost. And look, I think it was a pretty somewhat competitive game. They lost by 15. The Ladybacks did 95-80. All right. Like the stream. Shout out to Patreon supporters. We're currently at 21 supporters. Remember, I just want to break the 20 mold. We're there, but that doesn't mean we stay there. Anybody can come off that list at any given point in time. Remember, that's what happened last month. I think we're actually at, I want to say we're at 22, and then we lost 3, or maybe it was we were at 21, and then we lost 2. I don't know. But just keep in mind, we're trying to break that 20 mold. So if you want to make sure we cross that 20 mark, help a guy out and go ahead and subscribe. It's $4 a month. That's it. $4 a month, man. It goes towards helping out the channel. Oh, some Pepsi Zero. I had my 7 brewski this morning. 7 brewski. If you guys haven't had 7 brew coffee in NWA, you're crazy. You need to try it out. It is a little sweet. Some of their drinks, though, not too bad. All right. What up, Ty? What's up, John Hawes? John, I had to take issue with something you said in Discord, by the way. I hope you were kidding when you said this. I was going to reply to it, but I didn't have time. John says, talking about Barry Odom's defense. You know I love you, Hawes, but I got to say, he says, I think our DBs are good enough to play man while we blitz. I mean, they showed it yesterday or Saturday. And even if not, does Odom not know about zone blitzing? I get what you're saying. There's been a lack of blitzing, but I'm sure Barry Odom knows about zone blitzing. You know I love you, though, Hawes. You're my boy. They don't blitz a lot. I agree. They've been pretty they've been conservative going after the quarterback. So I hear what you're saying. It's the most frustrating thing knowing we can pressure and play good on the back end, and our coach just not dialing it up. That is, again, that's accurate. I see nothing wrong with that statement there. I sense no lies. I see no lies. Orange Bloods, Texas YouTube channel Orange Bloods spent all evening after the game bemoaning the fact that they cannot fire Sark during his first season because they have to pay him $37 million. Is that really the buyout? Is it really? No, surely not. See, this is why Texas is going to Texas, man. Until they get some people that are involved in that program, and I've actually been on Texas Platinum. I've been on their show. I was a guest once, just once, where I did actually pick. This was a preseason show before fall camp, if I remember right, and I did take Texas. And then coming out of fall camp is when I said, nope, actually, I think Arkansas takes Texas, and that's when I got on my 8-4. That's when I picked 8-4. I said they would beat Texas and start the year off strong. How about Slusher and Cam Little? I'm telling you, I am Prue. That was impressive this weekend, no doubt. What does Hawes say? Did Hawes respond? I was being a smart ass like always. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I thought so. All right, guys. Appreciate you being here. Let's get those likes. Share the content if you guys would across social media. You know I appreciate it when you do that. You know I do. I appreciate the hell out of it. Again, great weekend. Recruiting updates. Arkansas gets everybody. All their signees they get, which is not surprising, but Kevin McPherson had reported early last week, and we talked about it here, that they would probably only get 3. We didn't know about the other 5-star, and then Justin Smith. We didn't know what was going on with him, so really it looked like we're only going to get 3. They end up getting all 5 signed this weekend. I know a lot of you get it. I know a lot of you understand the importance of that, getting all those guys to sign. Now, keep in mind, that does not mean that that either one that anybody can't go play for money. Keep that in mind. They don't have to stick around and sign and stick with the Razorbacks. Any of those guys who take an offer, they can go play and go play for pay. Play for pay. They can all do it. Walter White says we're going to beat Saban with the $2 super chat. Hey, if Walter White says it's happening, I don't know, man. He might have a point. So yeah. Getting all 5. I'm telling you guys, that was huge. I thought for sure they were going to at least. I felt strongly about 3, for sure. Did not think coming out of that week and going into the weekend that they would end up signing all 5 players. Boy, the carbonation just comes up and gets you, doesn't it? Just comes and gets you. We are going to go over this game again, what we saw Saturday. Uh-oh, is my internet crapping out? What's going on here? Now my page isn't loading. Oh, no. What's going on? There we go. Okay. So, yeah, you end up 2 5-stars according to 247. Nick Smith out of North Little Rock. Jordan Walsh. Walsh, again, was the one Kevin McPherson said he didn't know anything about, wasn't sure. He ends up signing. Darian Ford. Ford was on Sunday. And if I remember right, Pinion and Dunning signed both on Wednesday. It's either Wednesday or that following Thursday. I can't remember. Regardless, you got all 5. Who cares? You got them all. You got every single one of them, and that is absolutely huge. So far, no transfers locked in. We got a little ways on that. So this is, man, they're going to hit the transfer portal. Whatever kind of room they have to navigate with, whatever that looks like, they're going to hit the portal. They're going to if they find the room. But these 5 here, and I think even like Pinion gets overlooked, man, because of how good all these guys are. And Walsh, who could play, I think Musselman said he could play the 3, 4, or 5. Or maybe it was 3, 4. I don't know about a 6'7". Now, I've heard he's closer to 6'8". I don't know about a 6'7", 5. But then again, teams do tend to play smaller these days. We've seen some pretty, I don't want to say funky, but we've seen him mix it up and play small ball. We've seen him have a smaller 4 and 5 on the floor. Well, not a true 5, but you've seen him run a smaller lineup. But Walsh, it sounds like, can at least play the 3 and 4. But good grief. I mean, it seems like every week you're watching a new highlight. I know he's got a real long arm length too. Nick Smith, gosh, man. I mean, they're just so stacked. You're going long too. Outside of Ford, every one of these guys are at least 6'4" taller. Smith is 6'4", 6'5". I've heard he's closing in on. Could end up at 6'5". I think he's about a 6'4" and a half, 190-pound frame. Yeah, this is just exciting. Pinion 6'6", 180. Dunning 6'6", 205. Jordan Walsh 6'7", 190. So it's not a huge lineup here that you've signed, but then again, you considering the positions, you're okay with that, right? And I think we could sit here and talk about did he answer any needs. Look, man, he's going to find whatever needs he needs, he's going to get, right? He's going to go out to the portal, and he's going to grab some players. What up, Ty? How you doing? Eli Lewis, how are you? Big man Ross. Yo, Jimmy Goldsboro. Yo. All right. For those of you in our Discord, by the way, shout out to everyone who is in our Discord that's in live chat. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you share the content. I mean, I got it handled in Discord, but make sure you share it across social media. Like, sub. If you haven't already. Slap that like button like it stole something and overload on corn dogs to celebrate the OT win. Those corn dogs down in Louisiana were a little sour this weekend, huh? LSU fans, look, I really thought they would bite on that corn dog thumbnail I gave them on Friday. Not really. I think in fact we had Ole Miss fans in the post game on Saturday. Maybe I should have saved. Maybe the corn dog should have been for Saturday's post game. But I have that set, with the helmets and all that. I swear I'm going to pay someone to do my thumbnails. Anyone good at making thumbnails for YouTube? I make all my own, and I hate them all. But I'm proud of the corn dog. No matter what happens the rest of the season, I'm so damn proud of my Hogs. I agree, man. How about Slusher and Cam Little? Oh, we already read that, didn't we? I don't know. Walter White's giving us salt. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what the salt's about. Is someone salty in chat? Big Donnelly says, we are 7-3. Enjoy it. Barry Odom is doing the best he can with what he has. We do more with less than any other program in the country. I mean, you've had a couple of pretty decent classes. I do think, and I don't think we talk enough about this when you talk about recruiting and what you have on roster, right? Houston Nutt was like the king of these 35th, 30th overall classes, 40th, 35th, chock full of 3 stars, and of course back then rankings were different, and you really only had like Scout.com and Rivals back in the day, and there was another one. Did ESPN do recruiting? I mean, I know they covered it, but I don't know if they actually had. I think they had stars, but I've never referred football recruiting. I tend to stay away from ESPN. I don't think they do. They're just not. I don't know. They're not as accurate. I don't know. Is that right to say accurate? I just don't rely on them for recruiting rankings. For me, it's definitely 247 and Rivals, just because of the teams. We're all familiar, and it's mostly local, right? Writers and analysts and what have you, and they just so in depth on these sites. So, and that the same could be said for Scout for a little while. Scout was pretty good, but Houston Nutt could do that. Houston Nutt could take these classes just chock full of 3 stars, right? You're talking about 35th. I don't remember the rankings. 35th, 30th overall class, and turn them like the on the field talent. Be able to go toe-to-toe with anybody and actually have a little bit of depth up and down his roster because he could develop the talent. So I think there's a difference between what you bring in as whatever recruiting class you bring in and then the developed end of the talent. These are two different, right? Your higher ranked 4 stars and 5 stars are more than likely going to be contributors probably within the first couple of years. They tend to be a step ahead of everybody. Tend to be, not always. Again, like we said Friday, Nick Saban's not winning football with 3 stars, right? He's not winning titles and going to the playoffs and finishing with going undefeated or 1-loss seasons. Could be 2 losses this year. We'll see. I don't think so. But he's not doing that with 3 stars. He's doing that with high-end players, right? But, I look back on like Houston and even Petrino. Now, he did have Ryan Mallett, who transferred in from Michigan, who was actually raised in Arkansas. What do you say he used to do? He used to help park cars or something on game days back in the Nut era. But he was a 5-star, highly touted quarterback. He transfers in. You kind of luck out, right? And then you have this plethora of receivers out of Warren, Arkansas, and Little Rock. You have guys like Joe Adams, Jarius Wright, Greg Childs, Chris Gregg. Like, he's badass targets, right? He already had DJ Williams. He inherited DJ Williams. And you saw what Petrino was able to do with that talent, and even the lower end guys. Coach Pittman has done that, and it's like also the guys that were higher rated we're getting production from. So it's like with Pittman, it feels like this is as close to Houston Nutt type development that I've seen. I mean, look, there's talks, and I'm not saying it's going to happen. We had a QB spotlight in our Discord. Again, a lot of you guys missed out an awesome conversation that he and I had in our Discord. And of course, it was open to everybody. Anyone who wanted to show up, all you had to do was be in our Discord. I'm going to try and get him in there again. But we talked about what KJ has done this year. Is KJ playing himself into a role where he might be considered on the low end on a draft board? You can't tell me this cat doesn't make someone's list, maybe 6th round, 5th, 6th, 7th round. The way he's playing, carrying this team on his shoulders on offense when Treylon Burks is just completely taken out of that game against LSU. He doesn't have a number 2 wide receiver. There's not been a tight end that's been reliable in the passing game. Blake Kearns kind of had a couple of moments, but overall he still dropped a couple of balls earlier in the year. Henry's been banged up. You moved Trey Knox to tight end. You had a walk-on as your third string for a while, which isn't unheard of at the tight end spot. But the tight end, I told you guys when they brought KB in, tight end plays a huge role in this offense, whether it be blocking or check down throws, things like outside throws and short hitch route kind of throw. Like that's what the role is, but they're mostly going to be used to block out and, things like that. Run those little short delay routes. But I think you can make an argument that KJ's playing himself into the conversation of being someone who could get drafted somewhere. I would probably guess right now 6th round. And is he capable of higher? I certainly think so. You go back to the beginning of this year. Look at his improvement through the year. Now, LSU, look, it's clear they're comfortable with this defense that they used against Bama. They're just going to blitz. They're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. They're going to show you all kinds of different schemes up front. They're going to run multiple sets. They're going to run their secondary off, play cover 2, cover 3, then they're going to come up, play tight man. And they just completely took Burks out of the game. Arkansas's run game not really a factor, and yet KJ Jefferson found a way to get it done. If you don't think the NFL doesn't look at his body of work and what he's accomplished, the improvements that he's made over the year, or even going back to last year against Mizzou, the one game he started, or go back all the way to his freshman year, which his first time to ever start was where? It was against LSU on the road down Death Valley. That was his first career start. Look at the improvement. Look at the body of work, and then look at that LSU game and tell me that there's not someone in the NFL in a front office getting text messages about, wow, wait a minute, this kid at Arkansas, this 6'3", 245-pound bowling ball who throws north of like 65, 70% on balls thrown beyond 25 yards. Oh, and by the way, his completion ratio is like 66%. You can't tell me he's not on someone's list somewhere, and I think that he is. I don't think he's going pro. I'm not making that assertion at all. But I have been really impressed with KJ's improvement. Again, going back to his freshman year, this is why you got to be patient. This is why you have to be patient with players and let them develop into their role. They got to be coachable, right? They got to, Franks comes in, he transfers in from Florida. KJ, we thought he was going to transfer. I thought, well, in this day and age, with the rules the way they are now, with these new transfer rules and all this, he's gone. Him or someone's going to leave. We're going to make room for Hornsby to be the next guy up. He stuck it out. He's coachable. He's a good kid, man. I only hear good things about him. I hear about how coachable he is. Obviously, he gets this offense. He understands it. He's tough as shit, man. I wouldn't want to deal with this guy. Oh, and by the way, not only is he going to run over outside linebackers and safeties, he's going to throw over the top of them. So, and that's just another example of what we've seen under Kendall Briles and Sam Pittman, taking these guys and developing them and bringing them along and making them better. I think you could argue Burks has improved. We all saw that coming. Highly rated kid out of Warren. They made Devion Warren better last year until he got hurt. You see them getting the most out of these kids. I don't know that Devion Warren sees the field in any other offense before his injury. I really don't. I know he has all this speed. He couldn't catch the ball. Talking with some other people, sounds like he struggled a little bit running routes, had a long ways to go. Remember, before last year, he never saw the field. He had a hard time seeing the field. And you saw what they did last year until he got hurt. Mike Woods a year ago. Holy cow. How important was he in that offense? And you got to remember, too, conference-only, 10-game schedule, Mike Woods balled out, as the number 2 and became your number 2 receiver. They have done such a good job of bringing these kids along. I would argue all the linebackers. Mo Brown, baby, bring it on. Mo Brown is just incredible. Was he tied for second now, I think, in interceptions in the SEC? He might get drafted. He just went from, probably not to, yeah, he might. He's tough to deal with in any type of coverage. Play him off, play him close to the line of scrimmage, play soft cover 2, tight man coverage. He could do it all. Now, I know when you get to the NFL level, they'll dissect him a little more, and they'll say, well, he needs some work in these areas. And they all do. But right now at the level he's playing at, Mo Brown has been incredible. Catalon, before his injury, was coming along just as we expected. I'm impressed. I really am. I'm impressed. can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it, but I'm impressed with Fountain. Do with that whatever you want to do with that, what you will. I'm impressed with what they've done on special teams this year. Yeah, they're still committing mistakes. I think they had a flag on 4th down. I know they had to burn a timeout. I'm pretty sure they had to burn a timeout because they weren't set or they didn't have all the players on the field or something. We talked about it in Discord. But they went out. Okay, look at Mississippi State's issue at kicking field goals. Look at some of the other teams around, top 25 teams, mind you, that are struggling kicking field goals. And you bring in this true freshman who was highly recruited, but like you have to take those like a 5-star deep snapper. What? I mean, okay, he's capable of being a good long snapper. Okay, great. But the same thing with Little. Look at him, man. Freshman year, and he's probably the best freshman kicker in college football. Their punt coverage has not taken a step back. I mean, last year, their kick coverage and punt coverage was great. Now, kick coverage, there's not as many kick returns, so you have a much smaller sample size, right? Because, now nobody can return kicks. Or at least you see them a lot less. But still, punt coverage has been great. Kick coverage has been great. They're starting to figure out how to pin. They're pinning these guys back behind the 20 more and more throughout the season. Special teams has come a long ways. I got to give props. Now, it was definitely still a problem. And I'm not, look, he's making the big bucks. He's making the big bucks because he's a recruiter and he's supposed to be a solid. We know what he did at Georgia. He's supposed to be a solid special teams guy. They've come a long ways. We saw a new punt returner this week. Perotti didn't return punts. And you look down the list of the things that special teams has gotten right. Bryce Stevens, is he a freshman or redshirt freshman? I know he's a freshman, right? 2 returns, 26 yards. That's 13 yards per return. Look at Perotti. Now, Perotti, again, all of his yards really came against one game, and all of a sudden he catapulted, right, in terms of punt return yardage. But still, you take what the other team gives you, and Perotti did really well. Now you bring in Bryce Stevens. He looked comfortable returning the punts, and he got you 26 yards on 2 punt returns. That is huge, man. Special teams can be a weapon. If you sharpen it enough, it can become a weapon. And clearly it looks like they've come a long ways there. You got to give credit where credit's due. Shout out to special teams. They have turned the corner. Still making mistakes, okay, but not as many. And they're pinning guys back. They didn't this week. I don't think they had any punts inside the 20, but we did see it when they did punt. A couple, was it Mississippi State? Mississippi State, I think they had 1 or 2. But regardless, you didn't see that much earlier in the year, and you're starting to see them. Their punt coverage has, again, been phenomenal. It's been great. Let me get caught up on chat here. Everybody was bitching about Fat KJ. Laugh out loud. Don't hear anyone complaining now that no one can seem to tackle him. Oh man. About Fat KJ. I mean, he's not wrong. Oh man. Yeah. All right. Everybody, I already read that. Hey, bud, checking in before leave. Oh, all right. Cool. Hope you, all right. Timber, if you're still here, thanks for stopping by. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Let's see. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of prefer shorter comments. I tend to read those. When you have these, when they take up like this much of my screen, I'm probably not going to read it. That's just too much. Scott Painter says that was a good interview, Ty. I enjoyed the insight he brought in about the QBs. I hope you do it again, maybe after the season, and see what the quarterback room might look like. Good stuff, Ty. Appreciate it, Scott. Thank you so much, man. Ty, you think Alabama are paying close attention to? Yes. Yeah. Well, it is Nick Saban after all, right? I mean, you have that to deal with. Even in bad years, Nick Saban would take Arkansas serious. Okay. Outside of the Chad Morris years, he took Arkansas serious. Slusher's starting to feel things out. I told you guys, be patient. He's killing it. He's killing it. I'm not saying he's Catalan, but he is killing it back there. He didn't get beat once, and he didn't the last game either, I don't think. I'm going to have to think on that one a little bit. I don't think he got beat one. Maybe he did. I was impressed, man. I mean, that effort on that pick was incredible. He has a nose for the ball. He knows where it's at. He has the instincts. He plays well in that 53-yard, the width of the field. He plays well. He takes good angles. He loves contact from what I can tell. He doesn't lower the boom like Catalan. Catalan will make you regret carrying the ball his direction, right? He'll make you regret it. But Slusher is just he's a solid open field tackler. I've yet to see him miss a tackle, by the way. Maybe I'm missing it. Don't get me wrong. I'm usually typing up notes. I've got my laptop up. I've got my iPad up. I've got my phone, and then I've got the TV up. There's always a chance I missed something. But when I went back and watched yesterday, I did not see him miss a tackle. Now, there's always that when you come in late and you're kind of going low and you kind of whiff on the tackle a little bit, but he's already wrapped up, and you feel like that's just an assurance tackle. I didn't see him even miss those. You know what I'm talking about? Like when the play's kind of over, but you always see someone right in the middle of the tackle come low and they kind of swing behind or they're dragging on the ground behind the defender. Well, I mean, look, linebackers over pursue all the time. How about did you guys see Hayden Henry chasing down that quarterback? He looked like me going after a turkey sub. I mean, that dude was hustling. I mean, he had his arms out and he's like, I loved it, man. I was all about it. Good for him. He's balling out, dude. If you're talking about I wish to hell he had another year of eligibility, man. He's killing it. Are we still ranked first in rushing? Now, you did drop. They dropped back in the country. Hang on. Let me pull it up. Rushing offense, Arkansas did drop back a little bit because, after all, you just played LSU on the road. Nope, not red zone defense. No. Rushing offense. I think you dropped back to 7th. Is that what it was? Yeah, 6th. Okay. So Air Force, number 1 rushing offense. Give me a break. Ole Miss surpassed you. So you're second in the SEC. Ole Miss is I can't remember the last time a year 2 coach had this kind of offensive production. I swear, man. Kiffin is just love him or hate him. I know we could talk about his defense dropping like flies and then magically coming back. We know what they're doing. You know, they're not even hiding it. We could talk about that. Oh, man. I mean, look, man, until the NCAA says to not do it, he's going to do it. And it's hard to blame him. Kind of makes you wonder, all right, well, why isn't everyone else doing it then? I don't know. Well, I don't know, maybe because they have class. But Arkansas 6th, so they're second in the SEC, and behind them is Florida. I'm as shocked as you to see that, actually. Did you see that game this weekend? Florida and who the hell did they play? It's the most points ever allowed by an SEC program against an FCS school. Someone will update us. I don't have the total scores up yet. Yeah, I do, but it's top 25 and they're not ranked. It's so bad, man. Samford, that's who it was. Yeah, Samford. That's right. Thank you. Look at that. You guys are all over it. Tyler Edmonson told me twice. The refs this year, even more worse than replacement refs in the NFL. Oh, I don't know about that. That was awful. That was terrible. That was SEC officiating is terrible, but I remember that year at the replacements. You gotta strip off the. You know, we're obviously biased here with the Razorbacks and feeling like they get screwed all the time because they do. But that year at the NFL replacement officials, holy Lord above, that was bad. Man, Florida defense reminds me of Chad Moore's defense. They're bad. I mean, Florida's just bad all the way around. How good is KJ? So clutch, says Noah's Ark. You're exactly right. The Hawk president, 1991, says Pittman has beaten every SEC West team except Auburn and Bama. I don't know what you mean by on paper. I mean, you've either beaten them or you haven't. Who would have thought that before finishing year 2? You're exactly right. Trying to scroll up here, get to chat. Remember, Super Chat will always take priority. In Super Chat, you can make it as long as you want, but if it's a really long comment, I'm just not going to read it. Or if I do read it, I'm going to skim over it. Michael Kopesky says, what's missing on the women's team this year? I know UConn. I'm not going to lie, I don't cover women's basketball. I could have gotten a pass this year if I know the SID pretty well. I know him well enough that I could have DM'd him and been like, hey, I need a pass to go to the game. And I could have. I don't cover women's sports this year. I just don't. My mind is set on doing mostly football, men's basketball, and baseball. Of course, we'll go over scores with the women. Don't get me wrong. We'll talk about the good. We'll cover what we can there, but this is primarily the men's sports. Slusher's settling in well. Again, I told you guys, man, Slusher's balling. I mean, it's a little bit surprising he's turned it around so quickly. I kind of thought this is going to be the expectation every week. He's going to get beat, and he's just improved so much. He said on paper because we beat them in 2020. Oh, yeah. Okay, right. That game's in my blinders. It is what it is. The women's team was at UConn. Right, we talked about that earlier. They lost. Let's see. Someone had a pretty good point, and I wanted to read it, and I can't find it. Hang on. So you're talking about the linebackers, Manny Powell and Caden Henley. What about them? Did anyone see if the class of 2020 football Yes. Okay. That's where it was. Alex, they are. From what I understand, it looks like they're going to sign the vast majority of everybody in December. And I think early signing period this year is December 15th, I think. It's usually like right there in the middle of December. As far as I know, and this is talking to people who definitely are in the know, both these individuals said it looks like the expectation is maybe all of them. And on top of that, all 3 linebackers right now, or last time I heard, and this is about 4 weeks ago, all 3 linebackers should be here during the spring. That is gigantic. That is huge. Again, you see the good that's done Raheem Sanders. AJ Green was track. And I said this, like, this is an advantage. Raheem's going to get carries. This is an advantage. AJ's going to have to come in there and fall and get caught up, whereas Rocket was already there. He had the playbook. He had the pads on. He had the hog helmet. He was there. He was involved in spring camp. He was involved in the scrimmages. AJ was doing track. That's fine. He's a track guy. That's fine. But it did cost him on this roster, and I think that has played a role. And that's why it is so pivotal to get these guys here during the spring. I get that track, they're going to have, I think Isaiah Centennial will be eligible for early. Don't quote me on that. He'll be an early guy, but will he be involved with track, or is he going to be on campus for spring? I hope he's on campus. But at the same time, look, man, track is life. Track is life to people who are involved in it, and I get it. But it will, unless you're just a quick learner, you're going to come in. You're going to kind of get to know the guys during summer camp, right? They got to report for summer camp. And then you're going to get introduced to what you're doing and what your role is going to be really in that fall camp starting in August. So I don't know. Odom 3-0 gets free. Yeah, I made that point in Discord over and over. No one seemed to catch on to that, but he's 3-0 against freshman quarterbacks. He's just, I don't know, man. He's just good at disguising coverage, I think, a little bit, and he knows to pin the ears back and go after them, make them second guess themselves. Can we talk about the fake field goal? Oh my God, that was a thing of beauty. That was the first fake in Pittman's career, was it not? Okay, cool. I saw tweets from Manny Powell, Jordan Crook that they are signing. Yeah. They're all signing. As far as I know, I haven't heard a name yet of anyone who's holding out. Now that could change. And that's what I heard 3-4 weeks ago. It could change. You got to consider these kids are in school. I'm still not entirely clear why, certain high schools will let them and some high schools just won't. I guess it has something to do. Maybe it's block scheduling versus period scheduling. I don't know. But it sounds to me like just about everybody is going to be eligible to sign. Okay. Or be here during spring camp. Let's take a second look at this LSU-Arkansas game. Now, I'm going to start off by saying this. And look, people are going to disagree with me on this. They did in the post-game show. I watched the Knox penalty now 4 times. The unsportsmanlike conduct, the 15-yarder. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was the right flag. Go back and watch it. Now, if you want to say what led up to that, why there wasn't a flag when he was the guy had him 5 yards out of bounds and was clearly, instigating the issue, and it pissed Knox off. I agree. Should have been a flag there. I don't know why. Why does a player, what are they retaliating to, right? That's where the flag comes in when another guy retaliates. Why are we waiting for the guy to retaliate to even have the ability to retaliate when the flag should have clearly been thrown with the guy who started it, right? You're retaliating against something. Why are they not calling that first before things get out of hand? How many times have we seen retaliations get out of hand where it gets ugly? We've seen it. We've seen it plenty of times. All levels, high school, college, pro. I don't understand why that LSU player was allowed to do that. Or for that matter, why are opposing sidelines allowed? You saw what happened to Burks against Mississippi State. Was it Mississippi State? Someone help me out. Clearly the guy's he could have gotten the shit kicked out of him, although it would have taken several of them because he's a freaking monster. Why is there not an official in there throwing flags? Get the hell back. And I don't care if it's a 5-yard warning or a 5-yard or 10 or 15, whatever. You've got to be in there. You got to have someone in there to separate them. It's always left up to the coaches. How many times have we seen coaches get involved? But the Knox penalty was justified. I had people in my comment section, he did absolutely nothing wrong. Dude, go back and watch. He hops and bounces off 3 different LSU Tigers. You can't do that. It's seen as retaliation. They're going to call that. And what you're going to always hear is retaliation. And I don't know, you can make the argument is, well, the guy he retaliated against was off and he bounced off different players. The point is they're going to call that. That's the point. All right? I don't give a shit about anything else other than he should have known better. He disengaged and then hopped and bounced off 3 different Tigers. They're going to call that. Take the hog blinders off, put the goggles on top of the head, and watch the game as an unbiased viewer. You can't do that. You're going to get called, and it cost his team 15 yards and put them in a difficult situation on that drive. He cost them that drive, without a doubt. Now, again, rewinding, the thing that led up to that shouldn't have been allowed to happen, and it happens all the time. Razorback players do it. It happens all the time, and you get a guy on the sidelines, and he doesn't let go of the jersey, and he's dragging him out of bounds. I've seen some pretty bad shit on the Arkansas sidelines and there not be a flag. I've also seen players retaliate and not get a flag, but more times than not, they're going to call that. All right? Ask anybody. Call in to Josh Bernacini. Call in. Tommy Kraft is an official on the Morning Rush. I didn't get a chance to hear him this morning. Ask him what he thought about it. Now, if he says I'm wrong, or if he says anyone who says that he should have gotten a flag, they're wrong, okay, then I'll admit that I was wrong. But they're going to call that. I've watched enough football over the years, and especially the last 10, 15 years, they've really upped the ante on these retaliation flags. They're not called retaliation flags, but when a player retaliates, they've upped it. They've upped the ante. I don't know if the league or if the NCAA said, look, we got to step in at some point and start throwing flags. My question is, why are they not throwing the flag sooner that led up to his retaliation? There should be every official anywhere near that sideline should be able to come in and break it up, right? And it looked like there were a couple there, and I'm not trying to put it all on the officials, but I don't understand. Like that was clearly that LSU player was holding him and pushing him out of bounds. And it looked like he had him around his neck. Now, if that is the case, that should, and I would hope that they would call that, But then again, at second look, third and fourth, it looked like he just had him at his collar, but was still pushing him out. That should have been a flag. That should always be a flag. If he's not disengaging when you're 3 or 4 yards on the sidelines, why is that not a flag? But it is what it is. And Sam Pittman, whoever, Odom, I don't know about Kendall, but I'm assuming these guys are all taught, look, you cannot retaliate in any way. Again, go back and watch it. Hell, I had it pulled up on my phone earlier. I should have just pulled it up here, and I'll watch it with you guys. He clearly bounced off those players. That's going to get a flag, especially on their sidelines in front of an official. Well, there's the Ole Miss fan. 58-31. I don't know. Maybe you're ahead of me. If we start off with a touchdown against Bama, then Arkansas will have a shot to upset the Tide. Got to start off fast. Yeah, that's for Friday. You guys know I'm not even going to touch the game till Friday. If it was the other way around and a hog had his hand all up in an LSU player's face mask, the flag would have been thrown immediately. If the same thing happened on the other sidelines and an LSU player retaliated, odds are they would have called the flag on the LSU player. You got to take the blinders off, man. You've got to take off the hog blinders. They're going to call that. You can't do that, especially on their sidelines. You just can't do it. I've always been told the second person is the one that gets caught. I don't know why all of a sudden we forget about that when an Arkansas player gets the penalty. What about the brawl on sideline against Mississippi State? Nobody got flagged. And I agree with that. That should have been flagged. And I think that was a miss by the officials, and I think most people would agree. What is hotter than sharing the content, smashing the like button? Dan Mullen's job status. Yeah, I agree. Push off on LSU touchdown and bad spot on fourth down, home cooking. They did. They got some home cooking. I won't argue with that. I'll watch Sam Pittman's presser later today. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I'll watch Sam Pittman's presser later. But any update on Treylon Burks? Is he good for the Bama game? I don't know anything about. I don't know. Ty, come on, man. The LSU guy bumped Knox into the. Oh my gosh! Don't make me explain this again. Go back and watch the play, Michael. Trey Knox clearly starts hopping around and bumps into several. Now, if he hops into the player, or if he's hopping and a player pushes him, at that point it's a separate incident, and therefore the LSU player started it. And what did Knox do? He retaliated because it looked to me like he made contact with at least 2 or 3 players. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too far because Arkansas won. Who cares? It ended up not even mattering. But we had a lot of people that just did not. I don't know. I think people just have their hog blinders on. Again, if this had been the other way around, I think you guys would agree that, oh yeah, LSU player retaliated. They're going to call that. But for some reason, when it's a Razorback, now it's like, no, wait a minute. No. It is. You cannot retaliate. Period. Cam Little celebration. Little gritty. Yeah. Did Treylon Smith had a better game than Dominic? Yeah. So this is one of those games, and I'm going to get into the numbers here in just a second. This is one of those games where it's kind of a matchup thing. Treylon looked more explosive. He looked wiry, and they were clearly ready for the big physical game that Arkansas brings, and they matched Arkansas toe-to-toe with that big physical matchup. They really did. They really gave the Arkansas's offensive line a lot to deal with, and they did a good job containing Arkansas's run game. They did still they did find some success on the ground, but yeah, Treylon Smith. Now, I didn't like the 3rd down and 5 or 3rd and 4 give to Treylon. I don't know why you do that unless you're trying to set him up for like a smoke screen or something, trying to get him the ball out in the flats where now you're forced to deal with an open field tackle. Although when you're talking about a 3rd and 4 scenario, I understand that call. I I don't like it. They do that a lot. They like to throw behind the line of scrimmage on those 3rd and 7s, and it's just not worked for them this year. I don't know. Got to head to work. Yeah, appreciate it, Frederick. Thanks, man. Also, I live in Arkansas as an Ole Miss fan. Well, good luck. Good luck to you on that one. Look, it don't matter what LSU did to Knox. He's the 3rd-year guy and should know better. Exactly. Hawes is right. You got to know better in that situation. What are the keys for us this week? Again, William, you might be new here. Fridays, I do my breakdown on Bama. Right now, we're doing a follow-up to what we saw on Saturday and also talking. We covered a little bit about recruiting. Like I said earlier, you signed all 5 of these commits. Arkansas's got the number 2 class in the country. All right, let's get to these damn numbers. KJ didn't do much through the air. LSU's game plan, I mean, again, they figured it out on defense. If they play like this the rest of the season, I don't know, health-wise what they're expecting back, but if they get a little bit healthier and they play like they have on defense, they could surprise some teams. I forgot who they have left. But KJ 18-25, 142. He did have a touchdown, probably one of his worst QBR games. 41.1 rating, but he ran the ball 15 times for 41 yards. 15 yards from the line of scrimmage was his longest run. Dominic Johnson. Okay. Dominic Johnson, 15 carries, 40 yards, 2.7 yards per carry. Didn't see anybody griping about Dominic. Didn't see anybody griping about that. But again, you got to give LSU credit. They game planned really well. Traylon Smith, 6 carries, 37 yards. He also had a 28-yarder. Reed Bauer has some rushing stats. Look at him go. Reed Bauer with that fake, he got 23 yards on it. Treylon Burks ran the ball 1 time for 5 yards. The double pass early in the game behind your 15-yard line, that's the stuff. That's that lack of situational awareness. Kendall Briles just lacks it, man. I did not understand that at all. Why are you running a double pass that far back behind behind your 20? I don't know. On your side of the field, I might understand that if you're in front of the 35 or 40. I might understand that call. behind the 15 or in your own red zone, you're going to run a double pass. I just didn't like that call. But Dominic Johnson would be your leading receiver. Of course, they had that busted coverage play. Dominic ran down the field for 40 yards. Great awareness, great escapability by KJ. Dominic, 2 catches, 40 yards with the touchdown. Again, that was 43 yards. Tyson Morris, when you need him the most, he shows up. Unfortunately, anything in between that, he's nowhere to be found. But when you need him the most, when you need a big play downfield, he could do that. 3 catches, 31 yards. He had a 15-yarder. Warren Thompson had a catch for 23. Blake Kern caught 2. I think he was targeted 2 times and had 20 yards on 2 catches. Treylon Burks, 4 catches, 16 yards. Burks was completely taken out of this game. Trey Knox, 3 catches for 10 yards. He's seeing more. And imagine if you'd made this move at least going back into fall camp. That's still not the amount of time that you want for him to put on the weight, go through the off season as a tight end, put on that good weight, the muscle, figure out, the position. It's a different world when you're playing tight end versus wideout, but they do teach these receivers to block downfield. And he looks like, depending on who he's matched up against, he can block. I mean, he can do his thing, right? We know he's going to be an issue on underneath routes. I'd like to see him get more and more involved. But, hey, you had 2 catches to Kern, 3 from Knox, so that's 5, and Henry with 1. So you did target your receiver or your tight ends a little bit. And I said I wanted to see more tight end production this week. We got a little bit, but want to see him. Oh man, give him this offseason, learn the position. That's a lot. We're asking a lot. Even if he comes back next year as a tight end and is given that offseason, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Of course, we still got to figure out what happens with, or wait and see what happens with Kendall Briles if he's going to be back. Defensively, Bumper Pool was a monster. He had 2 tackles for loss. He also had a pass breakup, 13 total tackles. Grant Morgan with 11 tackles. He also had a couple of tackles for loss. Hayden Henry, who had a sack. What is that, his 3rd on the year, I think? three or maybe 2 or 3. But Hayden Henry with 10 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss. 9 of those were solo. Miles Slusher. We know he had the pick, and, of course, he had the pass breakup. Right, but 6 tackles. Slusher, great open field tackle. All of his tackles were solo tackles. Jaden Johnson played quite a bit. He had 6 tackles. Again, you ended up with how many pass breakups in this game? 3. I thought for LSU on offense, I don't understand their move to play Max or Garrett Nussmeier. I didn't understand it. It's not like Max Johnson, who played the opening 2 drives. He went 3 for 6. It's not like he was effective, right? 3 for 6 for 21 yards. Garrett Nussmeier, though, 18 to 31, 179 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Quarterback rating, according to ESPN, at 27.9. I didn't understand that. Max Johnson has shown he's a capable quarterback. I'm not going to get into would they have won had they played him. I mean, I don't know. He didn't look that good on his 2 opening drives. But I was a little confused. And yeah, we talked about that in Discord a little bit. And I don't know. It is what it is. Davis Price, 28 carries, 106 yards. They held him under 4 yards a carry. His longest run from the line of scrimmage was 13 yards. Other than that, they didn't do a damn thing on the ground. 42 carries for 108 yards. Arkansas had a grand total of 40 carries for 141. Receiving, again, we know they're missing some pieces here, but Jack Beck, 4 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Trey Palmer, 6 grabs for 45 yards. Altogether, they had 200 yards exactly through the air. And yeah, they just LSU. I didn't get that. I didn't get that call for them to play the youngster over Max Johnson. I didn't get it. I got the he came out, looked rough those first 2 drives, but man, or those opening the 2 series that he led. It just I don't know. I don't know. 21 and 37 combined for 200 yards. So Arkansas going to the total team stats again. Penalties still plague this team. 9 penalties in this game for 63 yards. LSU 5 for 34. But they obviously lost the turnover battle. 3 turnovers total in this game. Third downs, again, horrible. 3 for 16. How many 3rd and 7s, 3rd and longs, because of mistakes, because of whatever? How many 3rd and longs did we see in this game? I think like half of these were at least 3rd and 7 or more. Maybe more than half. 3 of 16. LSU wasn't much better. They were 6 of 18. Arkansas was 1 for 2 on 4th down. LSU was 2 for 3. Arkansas, 283 total yards of offense. LSU, 308. Yeah, 9 penalties. No good. No good. They've got to cut those down. And look, they've had more. What's their season high? Like 13. They're lacking some discipline, man. And I know that's weird to say considering the success that Sam's had, considering the better product they've had on the field. We saw the improvement last year from the 2 years of Chad Morris, year and a half, whatever, of Chad Morris, to then last year, the product on the field was just so much better. It just looked like, even though they didn't win a lot of games, they still had a better put together puzzle on the field. This year it's that much better, and yet they're still struggling on penalties. They're not turning the ball over a ton. They're not. KJ's careful with that ball most of the time. I know he's fumbled it a couple of times this year, but they're doing a good job in limiting their mistakes in the turnover department, but the penalties are just out of hand. I don't know where they are in penalties. It wouldn't surprise me if they're the most penalized team in the SEC. But they've got to clean up these mistakes. And now you're about to go on the road. I don't know that there is a harder strength of schedule. This is the most it's unreal. You get out of this just gauntlet against A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Auburn. And then finally, a little while later, you get your bye week. You come out of it. You got to play a salty Mississippi State team. A salty, although down, a salty LSU team on the road, and then go back again on the road to play Alabama. Name me a more difficult schedule. There just isn't one. I'm sorry. Yeah, didn't Ole Miss pay for Tunzel? They sure did. They sure did. I never saw a bigger bunch of crybabies than what I'm hearing from LSU fans all weekend. I haven't really been paying attention, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, the defensive play was so much better this week. It was just, and I know we've griped a lot about the defense, but they really did a good job. They actually had 3 sacks, according to ESPN, but they had 7 tackles for loss, 3 pass breakups, and thought they had at least a couple of QB hurries, but they're showing none. But they did have 3 sacks, one by Hayden Henry, the other one by John Ridgway, and the other by Torrin Carter. Look at Torrin Carter, baby. Look at Carter go. That was his only stat the entire game. Well, TFL, right, in the sack, but 1 tackle, 1 solo tackle with the sack in the TFL. And Ridgway, I know he's not consistent. I know we don't see Ridgway play that way the entire game. He doesn't have – he's not out there to get sacks and TFLs. I mean, he is, but that's not what he's going to do. That's not what they're expecting him to do. They're expecting him to be a problem with one-on-one blocking and to gobble up double teams. That's what he's there to do, and he does a good job of it. He's just got that raw strength, man. He's like a Viking. He's just – he's just kind of – he does his thing. And if you ever watch him too, when they do run in between the center, guard, whichever side, watch him get that big old arm. You can see it. You got to kind of slow it down, but you'll see him. He'll get that arm out and he'll just wrap around and kind of push him back into back to the line of scrimmage and wrap him up. And then everyone kind of jumps in on the tackle, and he won't get credit for the tackle. I thought I saw him have at least 2 or 3 more tackles, and he did get credit for him. Although it does say he had 3 total. Maybe those were the 3 that I saw. But he's not meant to be a guy that's going to go crush a quarterback. That's rarely what the three front's meant to do. He's meant to gobble up double teams and to be a difficult person to deal with on when he's lined up across the center. We've seen him back a center clearly into the play. I'm liking this, man. He might, he does have a year. Right, you can get Bumper pull back and Ridge. You can get both those guys back. I'm telling you, they got to do everything in their power to get Ridgway and pull back. And, of course, Catalan, I'm feeling pretty confident at the moment until we hear otherwise or until we hear different that Catalan will return. So those are 3 big pieces. So, let's see here. Let's see. The snag crew has an issue with getting separation. Also, route running a problem. Thompson is definitely going to shine next year, says Marcus Murdoch. Yeah, well, behind Burks, I don't really know what Warren Thompson has at times flashed, and then he has 3 drops against UAPB, and you know what that does to a quarterback's confidence, right? Throwing him the ball. So, Mississippi's going to be looking for a coach soon. Look, man, they got Kiffin, and he's killing it. I mean, he really is. So every time I see Ridgway pull a guy back in like that, I hear Scorpion from Mortal Kombat say, "Get over here." I love that. Get over here. Let's see. You bacon bits. Oh. Addison. Thanks for stopping by, though. Thanks for stopping by. You counted as a view. Thanks a lot. I definitely love that KJ kept his eyes downfield to find KJ on that, talking about that throw to Dominic Johnson for the touchdown. And he almost did it again to Burks later in the game. A scrambling quarterback opened stuff up. Yeah, it definitely, that's how you find ways to extend the play. He's just – good grief. I mean, he's so difficult to tackle. I mean, he's clearly not a guy you could expect just one player to bring him down. He's just not. And he's going to run you over. So, Addison says, plus it's clear that Arkansas will never beat Bama with Nick Saban coaching. Well, let's think about it. When Ole Miss was able to beat Bama, how did they do that? Let's think real hard about that. Oh, yeah, they had to pay for that roster. That's right. That's how they did it. They paid guys. Yeah, Laquan Treadwell, Tunzel. I mean, you go on and on. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's how they did it. That's what Addison's saying. You gotta pay these players. You gotta pay the roster. That's what he's telling you to do here. Love KJ's calmness. There's not another guy. He reminds me, and I had that conversation with some friends of mine. He reminds me of Matt Jones. Maybe we talked about that last week. He reminds me of Matt Jones. Cool, calm, collect, doesn't panic, looks comfortable. You'll see him on the sidelines. He's just like, yeah, whatever. We'll be all right. I love it. I love his demeanor. I love his demeanor. So, all right, that's going to do it. Remember to like the stream. Get the likes up. I know we got one dislike from the Ole Miss fan, I'm sure. But, hey, at least he's a good sport. Or he or she. I don't know. His name's Addison. But welcome nonetheless. I don't know how much roster you guys have left. They drop like flies on the field. I really don't know how much of a roster Ole Miss has left to work with. I don't know. It's got to be tough. All right. I will see you guys on Wednesday, 11 o'clock. Of course, Arkansas basketball. We know the men. Hang on. We're going to get there. I thought I had it pulled up. There we go. The men have they beat Gardner-Webb over the weekend. What a weekend it was, by the way, 86-69. They've got Northern Iowa on Wednesday. So we'll probably talk a little bit about that game on the Wednesday show. Man, I wish that was a Tuesday. I lied when I said I wish they were Wednesday. Let's put them all on Tuesdays because that gives you so much more to talk about on Wednesday. But we're going to be loaded Wednesday. I think we're going to get some more news here soon, hopefully. But Northern Iowa, Bud Walton Arena, SEC Network Plus, by the way, 7 p.m. I don't know a damn thing about Northern Iowa. I'm going to have to do a little research the next couple of days. But, yeah, that's who you got on Wednesday. And, of course, we're going to get – Friday will be our Bama breakdown. We'll talk about what Arkansas's got to do on the road if they want to get an upset. So maybe we'll say a few Hail Marys and pray and I don't know. So, but one way or another, we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it. So I'll see you guys Wednesday. Shout out also, of course, to the sponsors, to the PTN sponsors. I want to thank them too, Patreon supporters, and all you guys that were here live. Don't forget, Direct Service Overhead, our very first sponsor here at the PTN. They will repair or replace your garage door. If you need estimates or whatever, give them a call. Their link is provided for you down below in the description box. And, of course, Stated Apparel, our other sponsor. They make unique shirts just for you, from State Pride, to funny, sassy, sarcastic, to pop culture. Our shirts are hand-printed on premium material that will leave you feeling and looking great. Our stores offer something for everyone. And their link is provided for you in the description box and in our Discord. If you guys want a link to the Discord, you want to join, that is also provided for you in the description box. All right? I'll see you guys on Wednesday, 11 o'clock. Woo, pig, suey, go Hogs.